This presentation will include a discussion on explicit instruction and the cognitive skill of reading. Engelman 2009 and Rupley et al. 2009 define direct instruction as a model for teaching that emphasizes well-developed, carefully sequenced lessons that focus on teacher guidance of student learning, as well as meaningful teacher and student interactions. Direct instruction is designed to utilize these teacher-student interactions to acquire small, clearly defined learning increments and prescribed teaching tasks. Vanderbilt University's Special Education Resource Project 2022 shares that explicit instruction means a clear-cut and finite way of teaching that includes both instructional and delivery procedures. This is instruction that doesn't leave anything to chance. It does not make assumptions about skills and knowledge that children will acquire on their own. Direct and explicit instruction are characterized by a series of supports or scaffolds, where students are guided through the learning process with clear statements about the purpose and rationale for learning the new skill. Then, clear expectations and demonstrations of the instructional target, and supported practice with feedback until independent mastery has been achieved. Evidence demonstrates that direct and explicit instruction supports struggling readers. Research shows that struggling readers are more likely to learn essential reading skills and strategies if the direct or explicit model of instruction is part of the teacher's repertoire of teaching methods. This means that direct and explicit instruction needs to be an integral part of learning major content and literacy standards. This includes essential reading skills such as phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. The 16 research-based elements of direct or explicit instruction are outlined by authors Archer and Hughes, 2011. These are: focus instruction on critical content, select specific, standards-aligned reading skills and strategies, sequence skills logically. For example, explicitly teach phonemic awareness skills before moving on to reading. Break down complex skills and strategies into smaller instructional units. Design organized and focused lessons. Make sure lessons are organized and focused in order to make optimal use of instructional time. Organized lessons are on topic, well sequenced, and contain no irrelevant digressions. Begin lessons with a clear statement of the lesson's goals. Clearly define expectations. In other words, tell learners clearly what is to be learned and why it is important. Review prior skills and knowledge before beginning instruction. Provide a review of relevant information. Verify that students have the prerequisite skills and knowledge to learn the skill being taught in the lesson. Provide step-by-step instruction. Model the skill and clarify how to complete a task or procedure by thinking aloud as you perform the skill. Clearly demonstrate the target skill or strategy in order to show the students a model of proficient performance. Use clear and concise language. Use consistent, unambiguous wording and terminology. The complexity of your speech, including vocabulary, sentence structure, and tone, should depend on students' receptive vocabulary to reduce possible confusion. Provide an adequate range of examples and non-examples. Clearly establish the boundaries of when and when not to apply a skill, strategy, concept, or rule. Provide a wide range of examples and non-examples. Provide guided and supported practice. Regulate the difficulty of practice opportunities during the lesson and provide students with guidance in skill performance. When students demonstrate success, you can gradually increase task difficulty and decrease the level of guidance. Require frequent responses. Plan for a high level of student-teacher interaction via the use of questioning. Having the students respond frequently via oral responses, written responses, or action responses helps them focus on lesson content, provides opportunities for student elaboration, assists you in checking for understanding, and keeps students active and attentive. Monitor student performance carefully. Watch and listen to students' responses so that you can verify student mastery. Make timely adjustments in instruction if students are making errors. Close monitoring also allows you to provide feedback to students about how well they are doing. Provide immediate, affirmative, and corrective feedback. Immediate feedback to students about the accuracy of their responses helps ensure high rates of success and reduces the likelihood of practicing errors. Deliver the lesson at an appropriate pace. Instruction should be delivered to optimize instructional time, the amount of content that can be presented, and on-task behavior. Use a rate of presentation that is brisk but includes a reasonable amount of time for students thinking and processing, especially when they are learning new material. The desired pace is neither so slow that the student gets bored, nor so quick that they can't keep up. Help students organize knowledge. Use techniques to show students how a skill and concepts fit together to make connections more apparent. Provide multiple opportunities to practice skills over time. Practice both previously and newly acquired skills regularly. Consider how these skills can apply when explicitly teaching literacy. Reading is a cognitive task, or a task that requires an individual to acquire, organize, recall, retrieve, and manipulate knowledge and skills. Research demonstrates that humans have the unique capacity to develop neural pathways and adapt to given cognitive demands. Neuroscientists suggest that the neural pathways and networks in our brain have the ability to continually develop and evolve. And although the brain continues to mature throughout life, it does not mature at the same rate in each individual. The skill of reading is one that is developed with explicit instruction, time, and practice. It is a skill that develops differently in each individual based on a variety of variables. Dr. Sebastian Wren published The Cognitive Foundations of Learning to Read in 2000. In this publication, he presented a framework of the cognitive skills required to reach reading comprehension. His framework stems from Philip Goh's simple view of reading and is a representation of what is currently known about the underlying cognitive knowledge domains that research has found to be essential to English reading acquisition. It provides information about the cognitive elements that must be well developed in strong readers. This includes components of language comprehension. Language comprehension includes background and linguistic knowledge and knowledge of phonology, syntax, and semantics. It also includes decoding. In the framework, decoding includes cipher and lexical knowledge, letter knowledge, knowledge of concepts of print and the alphabetic principle, as well as phonemic awareness. Similarly, another highly utilized framework that discusses the cognitive skills required to engage in skilled reading is Scarborough's rope. Similar to Dr. Wren's framework, Dr. Scarborough used pipe cleaners to demonstrate the interconnectedness of the skills required to master reading. Scarborough's reading rope is made up of lower and upper strands. When all these components or parts are intertwined, it results in skilled, accurate, fluent reading with strong comprehension. The upper strands include background knowledge, vocabulary, language structures, verbal reasoning, and literacy knowledge. The lower strands include phonological awareness, decoding, and sight recognition. From the cognitive perspective, reading is the ability to construct linguistic meaning from written representations of language. Go, Wren, and Scarborough's frameworks share the cognitive skill of reading is based on two equally important competencies. The first is language comprehension, or the ability to construct meaning from various representations of language. And the second is decoding, the ability to recognize written representations of words. Knowing that these two competencies are extremely complex skills with underlying subsets of skills, it is important to apply work related to neuroplasticity in learning. The human brain has the ability to modify, change, and adapt in both structure and function throughout life. Students learning to read have the unique ability to acquire different cognitive tasks, such as reading. This can be done through diagnostic teaching, the use of thoughtful assessments, as well as data-driven, explicit instruction individualized for students' unique developmental needs.